Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. Now, this year, the 15th annual PANSA Young Performers project is presenting an innovative new production titled Soldiers in the City. The production is a vibrant contemporary story which talks about relatable youth issues and engages with a new emerging urban youth culture. To enlighten us more on the play, we're joined by writer-director Themi Venturas. Themi, thank you very much for joining us from our Durban studios. Set the scene for us, a production that talks to the youth. That in itself is amazing.
Yeah, indeed. You know, we've been doing the Performing Arts Network of Southern Africa's Young Performers project now for 15 years, and we've kind of alternated between well-known book musicals and stuff that was written and homegrown by us for our young people. So this year particularly, we were feeling quite strong about the kind of energy that's in South Africa today. The young people are wanting to be heard, and they are, you know, we see them at conferences, we see them all over the country, we see them on campuses making statements, wanting roads to fall, this kind of energy was something we wanted to capture. So we sat down together, myself and Ian Ewok Robinson and a young playwright by the name of Lucky Cele, and the three of us together created a script called Soldiers in the City. This has got nothing to do with any kind of real warfare. The soldiers aren't literally soldiers. They are rap artists, because they call each other, slam poets call each other soldier. And it's really about the kind of new emerging urban culture that the young people of South Africa are being actively involved in. And there have been a lot of movies about this in recent years, about street dance-offs, and the poets compete with each other, and this has become quite big. It's around the world, in fact. Poets are competing in international kind of slam poetry competitions. And these competitions in general are surrounded by all kinds of other kind of clandestine activity, and this is an investigation of that. And there are a whole variety of subplots as well, love stories, the usual thing that one encounters in youth culture.
Let's talk about urban culture, putting it on a table, dissecting it and looking at it, because I can only imagine or as you as the part of the writing team, you try and understand urban culture. How difficult of a subject matter was it?
Well, not as difficult as it may seem, because the young people have plenty to say. So the script wasn't written in isolation of the youth for which it was being written. In fact, we only started writing after the audition process was complete. So we kind of knew who we were writing for. We've got 23 of the top young artists who are a triple threat. Out of anywhere between 300 and 600 who came to audition, the 23 top kids are all a triple threat. They can sing, they can dance, they can act. They are fairly in tune with the culture from which they are emerging. So we did a lot of improvisation, we did a lot of research with these young people, and a lot of what is being said in the show, comes really literally out of their own mouths.
And that essentially gives them control over the content and lends their voice to the authenticity of the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it does, and it influences the selection of the music quite dramatically. So the music in the show this time around is very contemporary, not completely contemporary, but there's a lot of stuff that was an education for me too, because it's quite tricky at my age to stay in touch with Toya DeLazy and Casper Nyovesi and all these guys who are pushing the envelope in the South African scenario.
But you have managed to create something that incorporates Casper Nyovest, Katy Perry, and all of those particular sounds. Ultimately, the idea behind the story is to tell what? Well,
it's to tell the kind of underlying energy that is emerging. We would be naive to think that the young people of South Africa are not kind of pretty angry right now and want to express their energy, and many of them are disgruntled with the older generation. Many of them feel, you know, we've been at this for 21 years and we're still not seeing answers and the kind of happiness that was promised to South Africa. Although it's not a very negative show, it's a very positive show. It's kind of presenting, you know, their alternative idea of how it should all work, and ironically very similar to what Madiba was saying many years ago about everybody coming together and being one nation.
There are some other partnerships that were also formed to bring this to fruition. You had a relationship with the Department of Arts and Culture in KZN. Talk to me about that partnership.
Yes, well, it's been quite a mission to develop that partnership, but in the last 3 to 5 years, we've managed to get the Department of Arts and Culture to understand how effective this project has been, and so they've come on board big time with a kind of a 3-year memorandum of agreement to assist this production to happen annually. In fact, the National Arts Council has even come on board this year, not for the KZN region, but we've been hoping to take this musical theatre project, which has been such a strong catalyst. I mean, if you look at the list of people, I mean, TV stars like Minnie Dlamini, Blessing Kaba, who was in the Spud movies, Adir Kalyan, who's now acting in Los Angeles with George Clooney. These are all kids who were catalyzed by this project in KZN.
For sure.
So we've been hoping to move this.
Yeah, unfortunately we've run out of time, but I'm going to urge everybody to just Google this project and to keep on watching it. And if you're in that area, to go and check it out. That was writer director of Soldiers in the City. The show will run at the UK ZN Snedden Theatre from the 3rd until the 12th of July. And I urge everybody to go and watch it. Let's go to the main desk.